cogs which are locking into place aren't going to turn unless you give them the energy to turn. And you give them the energy for your passions. So let's say you're in a job that you don't like. I won't say change the job, but at least get a hobby that you're extremely passionate about. You'll meet people, other people who are following that hobby. That will result in exciting friendships. That will result in networking. That will result in new opportunities in future that you've never dreamed of. All because you put the energy into turning wheels in an area you're passionate about. So don't go through life not having passions. You have to be exhibiting your full passions all the time in order to have maximum luck. And that's what we want, right? Maximum luck. So we're turning all those wheels and they turn everything else. A universe of possibility opens up. Now, I'm getting into luck, so I'll stick to the confidence habit. Self-esteem. This is another one of the words that's wrong. Because they say, oh, that person has poor self-esteem. Wrong. That person they say has poor self-esteem actually has the highest self-esteem. Confused? Allow me to explain. Self-esteem is really self-estimation. So they say an introvert gets tired when they walk into a room. No wonder. They're measuring everyone. They're saying, well, I'm here, they're here, well, they're down there. I have to act like this with this person. I have to act like that with that person. I have to act like this. And all this programming takes over the brain. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So the person they say is low self-esteem is actually doing the most self-esteeming, the most measuring himself against others. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. Don't do that. So but everyone kind of does this, you know, we can't stop being him. But, and here's the thing, if we recognize what we're doing in our heads, that's when we can shut it off, because we say, oh, that's programming, oh, that's prior programming. That's what I've been accustomed to doing because of things that have happened in my life. So self-esteem, it's always confused me. People say that person doesn't have enough self-esteem. That person is measuring everybody all the time. And this is the irony. The people who have a so-called high self-esteem, the reason they have the high self-esteem is they're not esteeming themselves at all, because they're not measuring anyone at all. So they actually don't have any high self-estimation because they're not bothering, because they're not wasting their time doing this. They don't care about that. And that is so-called high self-esteem, because they've recognized that they're happy with their lives, they're happy to exist fundamentally. You go into a room, you're happy to exist, you're the star of that room. It's as simple as that. And if you trust people enough to confide, and if you start confiding, you will appear to be highly confident. Now, confidence has a second component to it. It's not just about confiding, is it? It's about expecting success. Confident people expect the best. So when that person in the Little Caesar conspiracy was saying, hey, I will kill Caesar and I'll do it tomorrow. And they all said, wow, that person is so confident because he's so together trusting us. He's trusting us. We're not going to betray him. So that's part of it. But because he's expecting success, that's the reason he said it. So that's the second component of confidence. You have to expect success. And isn't that also a component of good luck? Look at Gladstone Gander. He's expecting success. You need to always be expecting success. And this seems to be a good luck trait that people have who are lucky. And it's a confidence trait as well. I can't help confusing confidence and luck because they are so much the same thing. They're so close to each other. Let's do another activity, please. Anchor your goals to pleasure. Now, okay, let's quickly, I'll just quickly write something on the board. Let's say there's a big goal. Everyone think of a big goal in your head. Don't tell me what it is. Big goal. It's a big goal, right? Now, we haven't started this goal. We haven't even started it because, why haven't we started it?
It's too big.
It's too big. It's too damn big. We need to break it up into small pieces like Henry Ford said. Okay, so we're breaking it up into small pieces, but it's still a big goal. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do the first task?
sorry, I was reading from the bottom up.
Oh! Okay, so this is so if we broke it into tasks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, one of the first tasks is we have to get the tools, the logistics. So that we have to assemble the logistics before the task can proceed, and that makes getting it done easier. You know, it's funny. We were watching a movie the other day about P.T. Barnum. Has anyone seen it? Great American Showman, the circus guy. He went over to Europe. He invited the Swedish Nightingale over to Europe, over to America to perform in America. Now this is the early part of the 19th century. People didn't want to do a transatlantic crossing in that time because the ships were rubbish. Half of the ships coming from Ireland, you were lucky if you got to America. They were called coffin ships, and they were the cheapest fare that people could afford. People were sailing like this. I mean, people talk about the Titanic, but 50 years earlier, it was even more suicidal. But anyway, the only reason, in the film, they make it that he's charmed her, so she's going to America. No, I looked up what happened. He had a magnificent mansion called Iranistan. It looked like a massive thing from Persia. It burned down after 10 years. And she saw that on a photograph, and she wanted to see that in real life. That's why she went to America. So because he had the tools assembled, he was already a big shot, he had the tools, he could get this big task done of having her tour America. But even before the tools, what's the main tool we need? What's the main thing stopping us doing any big goal?
Having the dream.
But we have the dream and the goal.
Maybe knowledge or somebody who you can rely on to mentor.
Yes, we're getting there.
Like
Yep.
tunnel